Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We are excited to welcome Troy Fautanu and his family to Pittsburgh. Glad they were able to make it in on the red eye last night. We had some inside information on Troy this year because his teammate was Mark Bruner's son. So great to have Mark share some thoughts. And a little coincidence there is the last person we picked in the first round from Washington was Mark, and so now we're bringing Troy here from Washington. So as you know, Troy had a great career at Washington. They went all the way to the championship game this past season, and really he established himself as one of the top linemen in the country, and we were excited to make him a Steeler. So it's my honor to introduce Troy Fautanu.
How you guys doing? First and foremost, I just want to thank God, man. Without him, this opportunity wouldn't be here. So I'm truly grateful. So I just want to thank, Mr. Rooney, Omar, and Coach Tomlin for taking a chance on me, man, and believing in me. And I'm just super grateful to play for an organization, as Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sure everyone knows, I grew up wanting to play for these guys and grew up a fan, and this is truly a dream come true to be here. So, yeah.
Can you take us through the last 24 hours, what it's been like since being drafted and then coming here today and spending the day with Mike and all these guys?
Yeah, the last 24 hours has been a blur, man, to be honest. It's been hectic. It's crazy to think back just 16 hours ago, or however long it was, I got my name called in the NFL draft, and it's something that I've been working for my entire life. Everything that I've done up until this point has to try to get to this point. You know what I mean? So I'm just truly grateful, man. It's been hectic once again, but I think I'll be able to kind of soak it in. Once I get back to the hotel with my family and kind of just talk about it. So yeah.
Why the love for the Steelers?
Yeah, it all started with Troy Polamalu. I was a big Troy Polamalu fan, and then kind of watching him, and then you kind of get to see what the Steelers are about, how they play football, what the brand of football is, and then I kind of just took that and put it into my own game. You know what I mean? Like what I think of when I think of the Steelers, I think of gritty. I think of work in the trenches, like just stuff that you don't see. But I take personal because it's part of my it's part of my job. So it's an awesome organization. I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
Mentioned that Troy Polamalu is kind of the origin of you becoming a Steelers fan. Mike Tomlin said last night he thought maybe your dad had something to do with you becoming a Steelers fan. I mean, what are kind of some of your earliest memories? Is that how you were influenced? Yeah,
I'm going to just clear some things up. My dad wasn't a Steelers fan. I'm not going to talk about the team that he's a fan of, but it was me that kind of just grew the love. I mean, I had an uncle and aunt that were Steelers fans, and kind of we lived with them for a year when we moved to Vegas, and then kind of I'm like, oh, these guys are cool. You know what I mean? They're playing the sport that I was, and then I've always gone against the grain because I'm a West Coast kid. We're from the West Coast, and my dad's was like, whoa, why do you like the Pittsburgh Steelers? They're on the other side of the country, but you know what I mean? It just happened, and everything played out the way it was supposed to. So.
Why do you think this organization, this team captivated you at such a young age? You talked about how it became personal for you to a certain point.
I mean, once again, like just the grit that the team plays with. Like I grew up a really big fan of Ben Roethlisberger, and that's what I always seen him to do. You know what I mean? He's out there commanding the team and commanding that offense, and I always thought he was one of the toughest guys I've ever seen play. Like he'd get hit and get right back up. That inspired me to play the way that I do. So. Yeah, hats off, man. Coach Tomlin's done a really great job, you know what I mean? And I'm just so happy to be under him and learn from him. So.
What's your first memory? Some prospects might, delete those old tweets when they come into the draft if they were talking about a team or the league. Are you glad that you left those up and everybody can kind of see how long you've been invested in this franchise even before you?
Yeah, so I thought I only left up one. So I strategically left that one just in case this happened. So I had my whole, agency and marketing team send me some tweets that, were a little questionable. So, but that one I decided to leave up, because why not, and see where we are right now. So.
How many tweets did you have to delete?
I don't remember. There was a couple, but nothing crazy.
What's your earliest memory of the Steelers? Do you remember the Super Bowls at all, watching them?
Yeah. My earliest memory was in 2007, I believe, and it was the Steelers, and then we were playing the Patriots. I don't remember why I remember that game, but I think it was the first football game, NFL game that I've ever watched, and I don't remember what the score was. I was 7 years old, so I really can't recall anything that happened. But for some reason, that's so vivid to me.
Troy, when you were drafted, you hugged a couple women first, probably grandparents or mother. Can you tell us who they were and kind of what they mean in terms of your journey to get to this point?
Yeah, so the people that I had, sitting next to me were the people that I thought were most important in my life, and starting with my grandmothers, because fortunate enough, I still have those two strong women in my life, and it's my mom's mom, my dad's mom. The first woman that I hugged was my mom's mom. The second woman I hugged was my dad's mom. Then I went over to my parents, because my parents, without them, without their sacrifice, I wouldn't be here. And then on, I went and hugged my sister and my girlfriend. So I just, those people, being able to share that moment with them, because they've done so much to get me to this point, and hats off to them for believing in me from a young age. And I'm just happy to be able to be in a position to help them and repay that. So.
Have you talked to any of your new teammates, and have you looked at the roster or thought about, I'm going to be playing with some of these guys?
Oh yeah, man. For me, the little kid in me, man, I'm still a fan of football. You know what I mean? Sometimes I still get starstruck seeing a lot of these guys around here. Like my 30 visit, I met Isaac Seumalo, and growing up watching a guy like that, he's talking to me and he's saying that he watched me play before, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like that's not normal. And for me, Dan Moore hit me up. Russell Wilson called me on my flight here. A lot of the guys hit me up, and it's crazy to me still. You know what I mean? I'm just really excited to kind of learn from those guys, because a lot of those guys have been around the league for a really long time, and I'm just trying to soak up as much knowledge as I can. So.
You talk about wanting to learn things from your new teammates. What are you most excited, though, for Steelers fans to get to learn about you?
I think just the mentality that I play with. I think that's one thing that, of course I was taught, but I feel like I've always had just the want to go hit somebody in their mouth, man. And that's just something that it's either you have or you don't. And I feel like that's something that I've always played with. Even growing up, I was running the rock. I was, I had the ball in my hand, so I was trying to run everybody over. I was always the biggest kid playing, kids my age. So I feel like that's where I got it from. And then when I finally got to play up, it was a little bit easier. So, I just think that, that mentality that I do play with, and just the passion that I have for this game. The amount of opportunities this game is offered me is something I appreciate so much, and that's why I'm like willing, and I want to be able to put my all into it. So, yeah.
Troy, obviously you talk about that mentality of hitting people on the field, but I've heard you've got some other talents as well, from volleyball to cutting hair, maybe some piano and singing. How have you become such a well-rounded guy beyond just playing football?
To be honest, I just get bored when I'm sitting at home. So, I just go on YouTube and I'm like, oh, what can I learn today? So I picked up haircutting in high school. I played volleyball. I feel like I picked it up pretty quickly. I got it from my parents. My little sister, she plays volleyball. The whole singing thing, my sister can really sing. I've never told anyone this, but yeah, she can sing better than me, but I kind of got it from her. You know what I mean? I just do random things. I don't know. What was that? A little bit. I play guitar. I play a couple instruments. But, yeah, it's just random things. Whenever I'm at home and feel like I'm not doing anything productive, I decide to put my energy towards something. So, yeah.
The best assessment I've ever heard of you was the last man. So what do you think was still a draft pick? He said, sort of like a zip code with arm and legs. So I was like, having that mobility and having grace with it, is that one of your attributes that you can bring to the team? I really do. I feel like, I'm a product of the people around me, and the people around me were very, good at what they did with my O-line coach.
who's now with Seattle, my offensive coordinators that I had, just my teammates. I mean, learning from them. I mean, the guy opposite side of me is in the draft now, Roger Rosengarten. I learned a lot from him. Playing next to my best friends, left guard, right guard, Julius Buelow and Nathaniel Colepo. Like, I learned from them just watching them play, because we all have different play styles. And for me, I like to watch a whole bunch of people and pick things from these different players and just try them out. You know what I mean? Try them out at practice, because that's where you do get the ability to do it. So then when I go into the game, I'm a lot more confident. So I feel like for me, it's, a lot of it I learned. Like, a lot of it didn't come natural, I feel like, being able to move maybe did, but the technique and all that stuff, I'm a student of the game. I'm a sponge, man. I'm just ready to learn, and I know I'm going to learn a lot from these guys that are in this room, so I'm super excited.
Have you been to a Steelers game before?
I have not. Yeah, I've not. It's crazy that my first one's going to, you know what I mean? I'm going to be wearing a jersey on my back, so I'm super excited for that.
Have you thought about what number you're going to wear?
I'm kind of just wearing whatever number these guys decide to give me. You know what I mean? I wore the same number my whole life, but it's really not up to me. So I'm just excited for the opportunity. So.
Troy, you mentioned last night that you were a running back in the D-line and then they moved you to the O-line. For somebody that likes to hit somebody, was that a move that you welcomed, or was it like, if this is what I got to do to be on the field, then this is what I got to do?
Yeah, to be honest, I always thought I was going to have the ball in my hands. You know what I mean? I always thought I was going to be able to do that. When they told me O-line was the best position to get opportunities like this, then I decided to buy in. And then once I realized how fun playing in the trenches are and how crazy it gets down there, there's a whole lot of things that happen down in the trenches that not a lot of people see. You know what I mean? And the position that I play, we play as offensive linemen, you don't really get praised until you mess something up. But that's what, that type of pressure is the stuff that I live for, man. I enjoy that pressure. So I'm just super excited, to be here and then learn from these guys that are in this room and soak up that knowledge for sure.
Two more questions.
Talking about your evolution and changing positions, starting from a running back and then eventually becoming a tackle, how did you maintain your athleticism and mobility while you continued to add some weight to your frame?
Yeah, I just always felt that athleticism was always something that I could be good at, I guess. I don't know, just being able to move out in space. And my coaches did a really great job of putting me in situations where I could kind of show that, showcase that, especially this past 2 years with Ryan Grubb as our OC. He put me out on screens. I was pulling on counter, just things like that. Just being able to, them being able to put me in those positions, I wouldn't be here without them. So hats off to them, for sure.
Troy, have you ever played right side with practice? Any scenario?
Yeah, I pretty much played every position in college. I played the left side mainly in games, but our coach did a really good job of cross-training us and making sure that we were ready for any opportunity that presented itself. So, I'm comfortable anywhere, man. I'm just ready to contribute.
All right.